While video games have been getting bigger and grander in scale over the years, I feel like something's been lost. And that is the crappy licensed video game. For those of you who didn't grow up in the early 2000s, you know, the PS2, GameCube, Xbox era of video games, we had what were called licensed video games. Essentially, they were official products like movie tie-ins. You had stuff like the Nicktoons Unite games. You had like SpongeBob video games or things like that. Obviously, since it looks like thing I like, then it means this must be good, right?
I'm Bob.
Hi. Bob?
It's, testicular cancer.
Cancer gives you those.
The drugs did.
Yeah, no, that's not how most of these worked out. Most of the games were total trash. Like, let's be totally honest. That's kind of the point with licensed games. They were made on the cheap for just churning out a product most of the time. And even though they were mostly complete trash, these games were arguably just as much of my childhood as like my favorite games of all time. I lived for movie tie-in video games, okay? Could you imagine if movie tie-in video games were still made today? Like in the video game landscape of today, they would be much bigger budget, but just imagine that. For example, the movie Avatar came out in 2009 and looked like this. The game also came out in 2009 and looked like this. I'm just saying, imagine a world where movie tie-in games still existed the way they are now, and there was like an Avatar 2 video game. I'm just saying it wouldn't look like this, okay? But for every awful game, there were a few diamonds in the rough, most notably Spider-Man 2. If you don't know, this was the first game to actually have Spider-Man web swinging throughout the city, like actually having it stick to a building and not just swinging through the sky. It had a big open world, you could stop crimes on the street, you can help kids catch a balloon for some reason. Truly, that game's importance on just Spider-Man media should not be understated. But we're not talking about that game today. Forgotten in the mix is the game that came before. Spider-Man 1, the movie video game. How should I say this? Just Spider-Man the movie video game? Yeah, Spider-Man the movie video game. So why this game, though? Sure, Spider-Verse came out recently and I'm in a bit of a Spidey mood, but why this one? Honestly, it's because this game is pretty nostalgic to me. You see, kids, like me as a child, are dumb. We don't know what a good product is. At the same time, I was playing games like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy X, and not pretending like these games are amazing, but there was some semblance of a cinematic quality to them. I was playing this, and I saw no difference. They were both same level. Like, legitimately, childhood me took the Spider-Man 1 movie video game just as seriously as I took the Spider-Man 1 movie. I'm also gonna hedge and say this game is by no means awful for its time. I'll get into what I think is good and bad in the game. I just feel like too many people forget it. So let's start playing. The story of the game more or less follows the one of the movie, just with a ton of stuff added and removed. Okay, if you didn't grow up at this time, this actually might be kind of confusing. So if you didn't know at this time, a lot of video games based on movies basically just like sort of followed an abridged version of the movie's plot. I'll get into the added and removed stuff as we go, but that's just something to keep in mind. That was very commonplace for the time. Starting off with the tutorial mode, oh look, it has Bruce Campbell narration.
Greetings. Welcome to the tutorial. Yeah, I know, you want to get on with things, beat up the bad guys, do the whole superhero thing, blah, blah, blah. Well, everyone's got to start somewhere.
So that's cool. Also, I'm pretty sure I discovered something here in this tutorial, right? So while I was recording the tutorial, I was still like configuring my recording settings, you know, still figuring out what the best settings were. So I did the tutorial more than once. While I was doing it, I said, hey, look, there's a question mark back here. Let me go get that. You get this fun little audio from Bruce Campbell.
Uh-huh. You just couldn't resist jumping down here, huh? Well, I guess I should tell you something then.
And then I finished out the rest of the tutorial, no problem. Actually, it wasn't no problem. I spent a good amount of time trying to figure out how to do this web hang move. Seriously, I wasn't paying attention to what Bruce Campbell said, so I didn't know what buttons to press, and I was trying to Google how to do this. It took me way too long to just do this web hang mode. And no, I don't think I ever once used this web hang mode in my entire playthrough of the game. Anyways, what I discovered here was this hidden checkmark back here. Well, later on, I had to go back and do the tutorial again. You know, I'd gotten my recording settings right. I was like, okay, cool, I'll record the tutorial again. You see, when I recorded it the second time, all of the sudden, I can't go back here. the game tells me I'm going off the map, like it automatically turns me around. Can you only get that once? Is that something they programmed into this? That seems like a very modern programming thing to just be like, nope, you can only get it once. Sucks to suck. All right, let's get to the actual story. You get a quick cutscene summarizing the early events of the movie and get this universe's version of Bonesaw. That's not Macho Man Randy Savage. He must not have approved his likeness. And you're thrown right in after Uncle Ben's death searching for his killer. There is, though, a combat training mode where you can fight Bonesaw. It's not very good, though. We'll talk about that later. I can't even begin to explain, like, the nostalgia I'm feeling right now, just, like, looking out into this city. And it's like, I played this game so much. Here's a fun scene with a purse snatcher.
Thank you so much. You saved my life.
Don't worry about it, lady. I gotta go.
Wait, before you go, I lost my purse on one of the rooftops around here.
On a different rooftop?
Yes.
Different from this one?
Yes.
Are you serious? Are you taking some kind of tour of city rooftops?
Yes.
Okay, whatever. I'll find your purse for you.
Thank you.
Funny thing, this goofy scene in the game is not required, and I don't even think you get anything for doing it. This isn't even like a regular thing in the game where you get a bunch of side quests, you know? This is like the only one. I will say this, though, as a child, it made me feel like I discovered something incredibly secret, because I don't remember when I discovered this, but, you're just swinging along playing the normal level, and then at one point you go back and just swing on some of the other buildings, and you're like, holy crap, there's something else to do here? So yeah, you get her purse. Fast forward to this scene later on where you talk to this guy who's in the same gang as the guy who killed Uncle Ben. I'm 99% sure they forgot to pay a voice actor for this dialogue, and one of the developers had to fill in with whatever cheap mic they had available, because what is this? Listen to this. What is this?
Shipping warehouse. It's right on the river. That's all I know.
Like with the side quests, this is pretty much just a one-off issue. Like most of the characters in this game, I'm not going to pretend like the voice acting in this game is amazing. I mean, Tobey Maguire is clearly phoning it in a lot, but it's all very clearly professionally recorded. And then this.
I can't tell you. He'd kill me. No, the guy you want to spike. He's probably in that old shipping warehouse.
I just want to know if there's some backstory out there where there's just like some audio dude who's still mad about it to this day. I know it has to be true. Finish the level off, and level 2 introduces something that we won't really worry about until later, the stealth mechanic. As a matter of fact, I basically just ran through this level. Dude, don't worry about stealth. I've already said this game is nostalgic, but I cannot express more how nostalgic these early levels are for me specifically. You see, as a child, I was bad at video games. So I have a ton of nostalgia for a lot of video game early levels. The sheer amount of games I played as a kid but never beat is astonishing. Seriously, over time with this channel, I want to cover like a bunch of those kind of games that I played a lot of as a kid but could just never beat. This is not an example of that, though. I did beat this game as a kid. It's just, there's a more specific reason I'll talk about later as to why these early levels are nostalgic for me. Find Uncle Ben's killer, same plot as the movie plays out. Do a few levels that are just web swinging training. By the way, they also do have 3 web swinging training sections in the tutorial mode.
Did somebody say swing rings?
So they were really stretching this game thin for content, to say the least. Next, we get a level of Shocker. Some of you may now be confused. Shocker? What? He wasn't in the movie. Yeah, so this is what I mean by they were adding stuff to the story. It was just a common way of padding it out. This is something I miss. I'm not even joking. This is something I miss. Like, this is why I miss movie tie-in video games. It sounds so minor, but seeing Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fight the Shocker, fight Scorpion, that was cool to me. The future games have a bunch of other villains as well, and I might do videos on them eventually. I wonder if there was ever a situation where, say, Electro appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 1 despite being the main villain of the second game, so they just pretend the other doesn't exist. Like, does that happen? I honestly don't know. So the next 3 levels are based around Shocker. He tries to rob... Is this Central Station? It's supposed to be a bank, right? I don't know how New York works. Are you guys ready to see my favorite thing to do as a child? It's today's Fight Club. We're gonna see which of these cops can beat one bank robber the fastest. Ready? Go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a beautiful fight here today. We've got Will taking on a robber. I accidentally hit him once or twice, so he's got a little bit of a head start, but he's tied up. This should be an easy one, Will. We're waiting on you. Good Lord, just hit him. He is tied up. Sir, he is tied up. This man. Oh, no, we can't let them actually fight back. That wouldn't be fair. And all right, we got a knockout. It was at 55 seconds. 55 seconds is the time to beat with a 2-punch head start and him being webbed up the entire time. That's how these cops are awful at their jobs. We got another fight upcoming. This time it's Will's brother Bill, and he's hanging out with his friend Phil. Phil unfortunately cannot be a part of our fight club today. He's kind of a wimp. He doesn't really like fighting, so we're just gonna have to help him out. But all right, let's see how is this? Did I say was this Bill? Bill. See how Bill does today. He did learn from his brother, obviously. They learned how to fight together. You just want to hit him. There are people in danger, and a bank is being robbed.
It tore me apart. But I learned an important lesson. You can't count on anyone.
We're closing in. Is Bill gonna be able to? Oh, he did. He beat his brother Will. Or did I say that was Phil? I don't know. There's another guy. This guy, Dill. Dill is being attacked by 2 people. Now that's not fair. Like, if we've learned anything today, it's that the only way for this to be a fair fight is for them to be tied up, and it still takes them a while. Don't worry, Dill. We got you. We got you. All right, go. Dill is on the move. Officer Dill. Is he going to be able to do it? Dill is putting in all of the work. Oh, look at the moves. The 2-step moves. Oh, he's looking like Muhammad Ali out here.
I'm a bad man.
Oh, time's running down. Is Dill gonna be able to do it? He's just got 2 more seconds. Can he beat him? Oh, is he gonna beat the brothers? And no, Dill has not beaten the brothers. He's still going. We're up on time now. He's well past the brothers. The twins beat him. Dill, oof. Oh, yes, we got Dill and Bill back for redemption. Dill wanted a second shot to beat out Bill. How long will Dill and Bill be fighting? I honestly don't know how I'm gonna. I think am I checking who wins? Who beats it first? Is Bill gonna be able to do it? See, the problem is y'all keep switching bad guys, so I don't know how I'm gonna judge this. We're timing it, though. This is where I made the mistake of like, oh, it's 2v2. They can handle them not being webbed, right? Like, the cops should win this. Bill's out here struggling, okay?
I eat punks like you for breakfast.
All right, they need the help, and I don't want to lose this level on some dumb stuff, so we're just gonna web them up. Dill, who wins? I don't know. Honestly, I think they're all losers today. I'm gonna go with Dill. He took the final shot. Bill is our loser for today. That's it. That's today's Fight Club. I don't know who the winner was today, but I think we all know who the loser was, and that was the New York City Police Department. Here's a funny scene with Shocker.
So you must be Quilt Man, Padded Pete, Mr. Triple Ply? Oh, I've got it. The cushion.
I'm the Shocker. Now say goodbye to Mr. Innocent Bystander, sucker.
What you done that, huh? Tell me about it.
The Shocker stuff doesn't have much story. It's just chasing him down after he robs a bank, which is fine. This segment, though, gave me so much anxiety as a child, dude. Like, not even joking. Just, oh my god, I just want to... The boss fight is fine. Because of the arena and the way he jumps around, he glitches himself out a lot. Oh, should I finally talk about the controls? Yeah, I kind of avoided it because, this game controls like shit. Look, I'm nostalgic. I'm not dumb. There's just a little bit of input lag on all of the buttons. It's not major, but it's noticeable, especially when swinging, dude. And honestly, this is just a holdover from earlier 3D games not knowing the best way to control the camera. But, yeah, the camera is awful. The fact that Spider-Man keeps running in the same direction despite you moving the camera instead of going with you on the camera is... It's so annoying. But yeah, the gameplay isn't the best. Moving on. Beat Shocker onto Vulture. And funny story here. I could not beat this level as a kid. And I still can't beat it now. I tried for so long. I don't get it. Are you supposed to use Vulture's bombs to blow up the gate? Because I tried that. It doesn't work. Vulture only starts throwing bombs at me when I stand at this very specific spot, which is nowhere near any of the gates, so it's not blowing up the gates. I ran, I feel like, everywhere around. There's no way past this. I tried for so long. I don't care. I used a cheat, skipped a level. What does it matter? Here's the cutscene after the level. This is me. I did this.
Must be a pain to get groceries up here. Ah, pest!
There's a level chasing the Vulture and then after a level fighting him. Both of them kinda suck, but I mean, the chase levels are just chase levels. The swinging controls are a little wonky, but it is what it is. Where the swinging is very difficult is the air combat. Yeah, the air combat's awful, and unfortunately you're fighting the Vulture, which, obviously means all air combat. Next is Scorpion, and I'm gonna be honest here. I really, really, really like his levels. Unfortunately, he gets the shortest story. He has a really good design here. I just like it. It feels very much fitting into the Sam Raimi universe here. Also, he's actually sort of relevant to the overall story. Not really. Like Shocker and Vulture, it was just like, oh, they robbed a bank and Spider-Man stopped them. In this game, Norman and his scientist friend here, I forget his name, doesn't matter. They pick up another being with arachnid DNA and decide to send spider robots after both Scorpion and Spider-Man. This causes Scorpion to, freak out because he is not a sane individual and attack both Spider-Man and the bots. See, though, it's not much, but there's, a little story there. And this is the shortest of the villain stories? Vulture got 3 levels, and the plot was Vulture is here and Spider-Man beat him up. This changes the dynamic of Norman, too. Norman in the movies was a pretty good guy as Norman, and it was like the goblin that made him evil. Well, in this is before he gets the goblin, and he just sends spider bots after Spider-Man. So I guess Norman's just a dick. Beat up Scorpion in this scene is funny to me. It's just Toby phoning in the lines.
I don't know who did all this to you, pal, but don't worry. We'll get you to a hospital.
And then Scorpion runs away. Now we get to the actual story of the movie. Sorta. Again, it's loose, but it does kind of follow it. Norman turns into a green goblin and attacks a parade, which randomly turns into night once the level starts. There's a fun series of levels here. It just involved chasing down the green goblin, fighting him in the air, fighting him on the ground. All very awkwardly controlled and very fun. The dialogue is also just so goofy because you can hear from both Willem Dafoe and from Tobey Maguire how much they're phoning it in.
I can't believe you don't sense it. Our kinship. We are truly brothers.
Brothers, huh? Well, then I'm telling Mom.
Goblin plants bombs around the city, so we gotta stop that. And we get interrupted again, this time by Kraven. Are you confused? Did you play this game on the PS2 and have no idea this existed? Yeah, me neither. The fun days of the early internet. Maybe I did know it existed and I just forgot. I don't know. Memory's weird. Norman hires Kraven to help take out Spider-Man, and his levels are really, really fun. Similar to Scorpion, I really like his a lot more than the Shocker and Vulture ones. But really, this is some of the best levels in the game, and I didn't even play it as a kid. The Kraven boss fight's pretty cool too, but I'm 99% sure this area of the map is just unfinished. They have these hideaways where you can get trapped in places and stuff. It's a really cool boss room.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But then I ran into this one area and I got trapped in this room and you can't get out. Spider-Man talks to you and says, I gotta find a way out of here. But I jumped around, I looked around, there's no way out of this room. Beat Kraven and on to the next, and I love levels like this one where the devs clearly had some grand swinging around and punching in air against these razor bats. Yeah, that's not what I did. I just sat on the ground shooting webs at them until they died. It was perfect, too. It turns out when you run totally out of webs, they give you just a little bit more, just a tiny bit left. The next level I both hate and kind of love. Yeah, stealth is back. You were clearly meant to do this level in stealth, but I ain't no bitch, so let's go. You know, it's funny, you're clearly meant to get absolutely destroyed by these guys if you get caught by them, but I'm playing on easy mode. Yeah, I have no shame. I'm playing on easy mode. I'm just playing this game for fun. And yeah, I was able to beat them. I mean, very little health left, but I was able to do it. So that being said, probably going to be a little bit stealthier moving forward. The next few levels rely heavily on the stealth. And this is weird because it's honestly so bad that it works. You can tell the stealth in this game was not an intended feature, but something added in later. There's no way to web guys from the ceiling. Whether or not they notice you is basically a coin flip. The hiding in the shadows mechanic basically makes no sense half the time on what counts on being a shadow. And I don't even know if it actually does anything, to be completely honest, other than highlight your avatar. And the sheer amount of robots that show up is horrifying. But all of that made it so fun to play. Like, I was jumping around, afraid I was going to get noticed. I'd pop in and try to kill someone quick before they made it to the alarm. The lights you had to avoid actually were a challenge to avoid because the controls are so wonky. Yes, this stealth was so bad. It was fun. Break into Oscorp and you end up working with some scientist guy doing something. I don't know, probably working on the goblin serum or something. It doesn't really matter. This was a fun moment though when I ignored all cutscene dialogue and just walked in and pressed a random button and I guess blew up the world.
There are 2 control terminals here. Which one do I use?
Look for information on the terminal. You should be able to match it to the control rooms you used. Oh no! What have you done? We're doomed!
You know, because of Across the Spider-Verse or like No Way Home, I like to imagine all versions of Spider-Verse exist out there somewhere, right? Somewhere out there in the multiverse, there's a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man who has fought Kraven, Green Goblin, Scorpion, you know, all the stuff from this game. Then there's also a universe where Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man fought Shocker, Vulture, Scorpion, and Kraven, and then blew up New York City by accident. Yeah, all those goofy deaths from QuickTime events in Spider-Man 3. There's a universe out there where that is how Spider-Man died. How does that make you feel? The next level, I think, is also an Xbox exclusive, but I'm not really sure. I can't find much info about it online. I don't remember it, and it's not listed as a level on any of the PS2 walkthroughs I can find. Oscorp built this giant robot, and we got to take it out. If it is an Xbox exclusive, it's another decent one at least. Nothing major as it's a pretty short level, but I like it because of how big the environment is. Now it's time to escape Oscorp, and I guess you're supposed to fight the robots now because they do way less damage to you. Goblin kidnaps Mary Jane, you gotta chase him down, and then the final level of the game. It's a good final boss. It incorporates a lot of the game's elements. You know, you gotta save MJ at the beginning, Goblin flies around so you get some air combat, and then fight him on the ground too. Funny that the final scene here takes place on the bridge. But Goblin is dead. Spidey kisses Mary Jane still wearing his mask over the corpse of his best friend's dad and his father figure. You see, still totally the same story, right? Ready for this sick beat in the credits? Yeah, it just replays the beat on a loop with random dialogue from Spider-Man and Green Goblin playing. Also, there's these lines that were clearly meant for Tobey, but I guess they forgot to get him in to record them or something, and another developer just filled in.
No! It's getting away! Mary Jane!
So that's the game, right? Oh, no. You see the time on this video? Yeah, we still got a lot more to discuss. The fun in this game is not in the main story. I mean, there is fun there, but there's a lot more. You see, they have a few side modes, like the previously mentioned battle mode where you can fight enemies up until you fight Bonesaw. Maybe I just suck at games, but this mode was actually kind of difficult too. You have to beat 60 waves of enemies, which is fine. You know, 60 waves of enemies, cool. You get no health packs, you get no web packs, and when you die, you gotta start all over. I died at 57. Are you kidding me? Honestly, the way that I beat this is just by webbing up enemies so I could just tie them up and get them out of my way while I took everybody else out one at a time. And then the fight with Bonesaw also kind of sucks. Again, maybe it's fine, but I was so low health I couldn't really risk anything. So I basically just played Runaway and hit him with my web blasts. That's all I could do. It took forever, but there you go. I beat him. See? Here. They got a bunch of challenges narrated by the man Bruce Campbell.
All right, man, here's a little ditty I like to call Basic Zip Training, and it goes something like this.
Or you can mess around with some cheats, unlock stuff like Big Head mode or unlimited webbing. But no, the best secret is unlocked if you beat the game on hard mode. You might be saying, but wait, Jayce, I thought you said you beat this game on easy. And you're right. And no, I'm not going to play this whole game over again. Ready? Watch this shit. Alright, start a new game on hard mode, skip the cutscenes and quit immediately, none of this matters. Then go into the cheats page and put in Arachnid. This unlocks all the levels in the game. Then go to level select and hit conclusion. It'll just play the final cutscene from the game and the credits, and then, yeah, you can just skip that, and you technically beat the game on hard mode. So go to the secret store. Most of the stuff is pretty simple cosmetics. You get a Peter Parker suit, so you can play the game running around as him, which is kind of fun, because they don't lip sync him, so it's just, his face. You could play as the wrestling suit, reenact the Bonesaw fight, even though he doesn't look like Macho Man Randy Savage, but, you can do that. It does change your character in the cutscene as well, so you get some fun minor differences. Actually, there's some controversy surrounding this. You ready for this? In some versions of the game, there was a cheat code that allowed you to play as Mary Jane. The cheat code was just girl next door. Goofy idea, but no problem. I mean, she's one of the main characters of the story, so why is this controversial? Remember that final cutscene of the game where Spider-Man kisses MJ over his mask? Yeah, just do a model swap with the cheat code and oh no, the gays, the lesbians. Yeah, seriously. Anyways, there's also an Alex Ross suit, which is pretty fun. Alex Ross is a comic book artist, so I assume this is one of his designs. I don't really know the backstory there, but it's a pretty cool design suit. Actually, I didn't even know this. This is a really cool thing. Green Goblin also gets a model swap. I assume it's just to look more like the comics. It's a little darker, but more or less, yeah, it's just the comic suit, which is really cool. I like this a lot. Genuinely, future Spider-Man games should do this. If you change your costume, the main villain's costume, matches what Spider-Man's wearing, that would be cool. But let's get to what we're really here for. The reason you do all this. This right here. Yes, in this game you could unlock the ability to play as the Green Goblin. Now I know this may not sound like all that much, but as a child, I cannot stress to you how cool I thought this was. This is mainly why the game is nostalgic to me. Yeah, I played as Spider-Man a little. It's a Spider-Man game. I played as Spider-Man. But oh no, I played as Green Goblin. How does he play though? Pretty well, honestly, considering he's just an extra game mode. He more or less gets all the powers you see him use against you in the boss battles, which is just really cool. You get a bunch of different cool bombs to throw that I never use. You get this cool fire running ability that I never use. You can drop bombs from above on your glider, which I never use. Okay, so the Goblin has two really, really strong abilities, and you can kind of just spam those most of the time. They are your homing blades and your razor bats. Your razor bats are just super helpful because they distract enemies for you. So basically just any fight, spam 5 or 6 of them, whatever the max is, I don't remember. And boom, now the enemies aren't just all crowding you. Your homing blades are just stupidly strong. I have no idea why they made them this powerful, but they are broken. They also use an entirely different energy gauge than your main blue one right here, right? The ones that you have to go get the tokens for. Yeah, this one auto refreshes, so you're never gonna run out of it. It is broken. It's too strong. I mentioned how the early levels of this game were nostalgic for me for a very specific reason. And here's why. As a kid, I didn't know you could play as the Green Goblin on a different difficulty other than hard mode. So I thought when you would go to new game, it would erase all your progress and you would start over. For some reason, I didn't even attempt to check this as a child. I don't know why. So what I would do is I would, use the Arachnid cheat and then unlock Green Goblin, but then I would just choose level select to start a new game instead of going to new game. So basically I was stuck on a minimum difficulty of hard mode. Actually, what I would do is I would use 2 other cheats. I would use the infinite webbing cheat and then another cheat called chill out, I think is what it was. Basically, it gave me unlimited energy on most of my goblin powers. So I'd be playing on hard mode, but then I would use cheats to basically, if I'm struggling too much, I can just spam my powers. It's just wild, man. I used to be so mad. I was like, man, I wish I could just play this game on easy, and I could have the whole time. I guess I was just really dumb, though, because I also thought you couldn't do the, fight mode with Green Goblin. Yeah, I'm wrong about that, too. You can. You can also do the swinging race modes with Green Goblin. You cannot bowl, though. That's disappointing. That is some shit I would pull with my friend. I'd invite him over. It's like, hey, let's play this Spider-Man bowling game. All right, cool. We're playing, and I'd put a cheat where I play as Green Goblin, and all of a sudden, I'm just flying through. Honestly, most of the game is easier with Green Goblin. The only one handicap to him is the fact that he can't wall crawl. And webbing up enemies. Webbing up enemies, though, is mostly taken care of by your razor bats. They distract you for them. Really, the only purpose for webbing up enemies was if you were crowded anyway, so they kind of handle that. The lack of wall crawling, though, is a bit of an issue on stealth levels. Yeah, there's no stealth with Green Goblin. The stealth method with him is the go full speed and hide method of stealth. The bad kind. I'm going to nerd out for a little bit here because there's a little bit of story with the Green Goblin stuff in this game, and I just think that's really cool. The story here is super, super, super minor, like bare bones. You can tell they probably wanted to do more, but didn't have time, maybe didn't have money, but there's like little nuggets of information you get in there that's super interesting. So the game starts out with you playing as Harry Osborn. Yes, he never actually appears in the game though, funny enough. Like in the main story, there's no model of Harry Osborn ever used in this game. This is just like the Green Goblin model. He says he's using his dad's goblin gear to research what his dad was doing. So I'm guessing this takes place after the events of the movie, or maybe during? We're not really sure. He found the goblin gear and is now using it.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Using Dad's goblin gear is just nuts. But that weird invoice I found with Dad's stuff sure made it look like he was hiring the Skulls gang to do dirty work for him. I have to know what he was doing. Look out, Skulls. There's a new Green Goblin in town.
See, based on what's said here, it makes it seem like it takes place after the movie. Maybe Harry never found Spider-Man the way he did at the end of the first movie, because at the end of this game, that's not what happens. You know, Harry wasn't there and found him, so maybe he's not as vengeful in this universe. And then he discovers the Goblin stuff and is like, hey, I'll be a superhero alongside Spider-Man. Maybe. I'll get to that in a minute. The levels are all the exact same as the Spidey one. You can actually do the purse snatcher scene again, though, so that's fun.
Here's your purse back.
Thank you so much. This city could use more masked vigilantes like you.
If you say so. Try to stay off the rooftops from now on. A lot of gang members seem to hang out up here.
I will. Thanks again.
And yes, by the way, if you didn't notice, that is Josh Keaton, the voice of Spectacular Spider-Man as Harry Osborn. Before he was ever Spider-Man, he was the Green Goblin. Sort of. Kind of neat. It's also funny how different Tobey Maguire phoning it in sounds like here versus a voice actor like Josh Keaton, because, like, Green Goblin sounds more like Spider-Man here than Spider-Man does. I love Tobey, don't get me wrong. It's just obvious he's not trying. He's not the only one. Actually, funnier thing about this game is how hard all of the side voice actors are trying, like Shocker and Scorpion and Vulture. Then the two main guys, Willem and Tobey, are just like, it's a video game, who gives a shit? But yeah, the Green Goblin stuff doesn't have a ton of story, as most of the cutscenes are just straight up gone, which does lead to funny moments for me where I start a level, I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to do? Where? Oh, hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, it's this level. Weirdly, though, there's random cutscenes that they did put effort into, kind of for no reason, but also it's so minor. Basically, in the Shocker level, they keep one random cutscene at the beginning of the level of Shocker talking to his goons.
He's still chasing us, but this is our chance. He won't be able to fly around as much down here. Let's take him out.
It's why I honestly think they wanted to do more with this. Have it be like a whole side story, which would have been really cool. But for what we got, I like it. So you may wonder what happens when you fight the Green Goblin. He's the main villain of the game, and you're playing as him. What do they do about that? Simple. Nothing, really. They just lower Willem Dafoe's voice with a pitch modifier.
This all seems eerily familiar. I don't know who you think you are, but you're mistaken if you think you can threaten my friends.
It's about time we met Osborn. Go ahead and save the girl, if you can.
I think he has some extra dialogue, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of snuck those in and, like, told Willem Dafoe he was recording it for the main game, you know? Like, I feel like that's probably part of the issue with this, is when you create a whole side story like this, you then have to pay voice actors, and they probably were like, we don't want to do that for a bunch of more dialogue. There's a line of dialogue in here from Goblin saying, your father paid me to kill Spider-Man.
Your father hired me to kill Spider-Man. He gave me the suit and some razor backs.
Liar! Shut your mouth!
So, wait, is Spider-Man dead now? Yeah, we're going full game theory mode now, okay? I'm gonna figure out this story. So either Spider-Man is dead, or they're just referring to Spider-Man 1, the movie, Green Goblin attacking Spider-Man. So you guys ready for my theory on the story here? Yeah, because there's no resolution to the game, like none whatsoever. When you beat the game, that's it. It just goes to credits. I get animating a new sequence would have been a lot, but I don't know. It would have been nice. All right, here's my theory. This is what the rest of this video is going to be, since there's not much to the story here. This alternate story is a what if Green Goblin had won in Spider-Man 1. In this world, Spider-Man dies fighting the Green Goblin, and Norman's Goblin personality fully takes over. Using this opportunity, he disappears, making it seem as though Norman Osborn has died. Now, though, the Goblin needs a new foe. Maybe he even helps coerce Harry into finding his father's old Goblin gear by leaving a trail behind leading to it. It is then that he decides to go back to his old tricks of attacking Mary Jane, ultimately being defeated by Harry as he continues to be the superhero of this world. Am I stretching quite a bit? Yes, I'm aware, but I actually actually think this was the intention of the developers. Maybe, I don't know. At least it was their end goal if they could have made a full story out of this. The nuggets they dropped seemed to point to it. With Spidey and Norman both seemingly dying, Harry is no longer spiteful against Spider-Man. He may even want to redeem his father's name, especially after finding the glider at this point in his life. I think the reveal all along, this guy posing as the Goblin, was Norman. Like, that was what I think the big twist was gonna be. Mainly it's a line here where the evil Goblin says this.
You're your father's son, all right?
Stop talking about my father!
That line to me really seems to hint like they wanted you to know that this is still Norman. Because on surface value, the story is Harry takes over as Goblin. There's some new guy after Norman had died who also found the glider in Goblin suit, and that's who Harry is fighting. It's just two people who also found Goblin suits. I think even something like the voice modifier on the evil Goblin is a hint that this is Norman. I mean, if they just left the voice the same, it would have been obvious, yeah, that's Norman, but adding a modifier, now maybe his son won't recognize his voice. Again, I'm aware that I'm stretching, but it's just something to think about. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. And that's pretty much the game. There are a few minor stuff like these animations, which are a bit of fun, even if Shocker is clearly voiced by a different guy in it.
Time to bring down the lights.
But yeah, how do I feel about this game as a whole? It's not good, but I love it. This is the kind of game I will come back to 5 years from now when I get this random urge to play an old Spider-Man game. And I'll probably forget half the things I discovered, and it'll be like playing this game for the first time all over again. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, I may cover more Spider-Man games in the future. I played a lot of them growing up. I definitely want to give Spider-Man 2 a playthrough again soon. Maybe even Spider-Man 3, or like the Amazing Spider-Man games too. I don't have as much nostalgia for those ones, so I may be able to give a more unbiased perspective on the games. Don't be surprised if I play more Spider-Man games though, because I'm really in a Spider-Man mood lately.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. It'd be awesome if you sub to the channel. It helps me out a lot. I also have all my other social medias listed over here on the side and more videos right there. If you watched a few more, that'd be great. Please. All right, peace out.